So there are good examples out there already, but again, I come back and say that it's... Sorry?
For 30 seconds.
Okay, that's fine. I come back and say it's a young technology, and the question that I would ask is not to blog or not to blog. The question I'd ask is how to blog and what can we do with it. And a final note, the most innovative political blogging at the moment in the UK is Slugger O'Toole in Northern Ireland, where 96% of the Assembly members read it, and he's actually using it as a way of helping people learn about democratic debate in a society that perhaps hasn't had a proper pluralist democracy since at least 1960, possibly never before that because of the civil wars and so on. So, thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Very interesting. Final speaker then.
What a short straw, eh? And I helped to organise this. This is bad planning.
Victoria Winter.
Okay, I'll try and not to repeat some of the points earlier, and tell a little story about how I came to be standing here today, but with a foot literally in both camps. The Ben Foundation launched its blog last March, 6 months ago, with two main aims. The first one was to try and publicise what we do a bit more widely, and in particular to try and reach people who are not the kind of people who pick up our reports, kind of stuff that's on the back there. So it was to be a different medium, a different tool as well, I suppose. And the other thing was to try and encourage debate, especially since we have real difficulty in a lot of the work we produce being picked up by certain media, particularly print journalism in Wales. And we think we've got a good message and some good stories, and we really feel we're struggling sometimes to get it out there. So that's why we did it, and it was meant to be more informal, more chatty, more accessible, all those things that blogs are said to be. So off we went. We got our site from Blogger as well because it's nice and easy. I've got the technical skills of a gnat, but even I could do it, and I don't have a great deal of time. I've got 2 jobs, 2 children, all that usual stuff. And we also set up certain rules, or I set up certain rules for myself about how the blog would be, which is we don't do personalities, we don't do attacks, and we don't do party political talk. We're a charity, it's not appropriate, we can't do it, we won't do it. We carried on, it was okay, I struggled sometimes to keep up posts, particularly when the work got heavy. But over the summer, I didn't blog for a couple of weeks, and when I came back to it in September, I began to wonder whether it was worth it. And I wondered that for 3 reasons. First of all, does blogging really reach ordinary people? Or is it just the anoraks and the nerds and the people who are paid to read these things who are actually reading them? And it's very hard to tell who your blogs is reaching because, as Betsan said, the comments aren't really much of a guide. The second thing, and I have to say this, is I was very disappointed in the quality of debate, not just on the Ben Foundation blog, but on a whole host of different blogs. A lot of the comments would either see everything in terms of party politics. If I said something not particularly positive about economic development, instantly that was seen as an attack on Ian Wyn-Jones. If I said something about the history of the South Wales valleys, gosh, that was an excuse for Labour not doing anything. Excuse me? No. But it was very disappointing, and I didn't see, perhaps I was naive in terms of what I was expecting, but I didn't see the debate that we'd hoped for. And I have to say, I'm very concerned about the anonymous comments. We get a lot of them. Some of them have been quite insulting. I've taken them down fairly quickly, but I can do without that. I don't need it. I don't want to be insulted. I don't do it to be insulted, and it's a pain in the neck having to delete comments when you've got other things to do. So, we're still blogging. I put up some posts yesterday, put another one this morning about the pay gap between rich and poor. A couple of comments actually on that one. I'm not sure if we're setting the agenda. I'm not sure if we're reaching people. So as I sit in my office in Tredegar, looking at my keyboard, signing into Blogger, the question I ask myself still is, am I singing from the hilltops or shouting into the wind? Thank you.
Thank you, Victoria. Can I thank all 6 of you for such illuminating and varied